just to explain, these are some of the marshals and officials coming in who will be forming, if you like, a kind of wall, a pathway. And then the athletes will come in and follow that pathway itself. And while this pathway is being created, Steve, just another thought about the conditions here and how difficult it was for some of the athletes to actually go about the business of competing.
Well, along was said, particularly for people who would be out there, not inside a venue, would be out in the heat and theoretically humidity of Delhi. I think most people cope very, very well indeed. You mustn't forget that athletes are used to travelling the world in most of the sports and competing in these sort of conditions. As long as they've been well prepared. The English track and field team, for instance, went to Doha where temperatures were in excess of 40 degrees. They came here and said it's quite cool. So sometimes how you prepare really has an impact on how you perform. I think there are undoubtedly some people who weren't as well prepared. For some of the smaller nations, that's always going to be an issue. They don't have the same sort of money to spend on preparation. But nonetheless, I think there was certainly, as far as the evidence has been coming back from the athletes, we didn't have too many occasions where heat exhaustion was a factor. And of course, there are people who'll be saying it's going to be raining and cold in Glasgow, and that won't help our sport either. Let's hope it's not the case.
Well, let's wait and see. Once we're ready here in the stadium, we're almost ready now for the athletes to arrive. The first nation in will be India, because of course they are the hosts, and it's worth saying just a few words about before they turn up, Steve, because it's worth reflecting on what they've achieved here as a team.
Well, they've done very well in the sports they expected to, sports like shooting and wrestling and boxing and some of their traditional sports that they have genuine world contenders. But their emergence, for me, particularly as a track and field nation. Now, admittedly, it wasn't top-class competition here. They've won the odd medals here and there, but they have some genuinely good athletes. Their 4x1 relay team, I know the women got all the plaudits in the 4x4, but they've frightened the English team, and the English team is one of the best in the world. And they've set 2 national records, and it's such a big country. If they were to grasp a sport like that and really go for it, they won in the women's discus. They had people picking up medals in other events, and they could, if they wanted to. It'll take a little bit of time, genuinely start to create some athletes who could go and win world and Olympic medals.
Interested to see the formation here on the floor of the arena, because they're forming, Tinku, the Wheel of Life, which is the symbol of the Games.
That's right, Hugh. The Commonwealth logo for Delhi 2010, the Wheel of Life. And this, of course, is really an ancient Hindu concept, which is the all-encompassing. We're all one big family, basically, all over the world. We're all part of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is the entire world really is one family. And I think that's what the message is that they want to put out after these Commonwealth Games.
So here we see the kind of avenue being created, the avenue along which the athletes will walk. We won't see as many athletes as we did in the opening, Steve, will we?
Please welcome into the stadium.
Well, no, because I'll refer back to the point I just made. When federations send their athletes, they'll often just send them for the time they're here to compete. So, for instance, lots of swimmers are already back home. I know we've got 1 or 2 sitting in the studio watching this. And so depending on when your sport was scheduled, a lot of them will have gone already back to the various parts of the world. And again, I know some of the English athletes are on a 2 a.m. flight this morning, and will therefore not be here either. I know some of them would have liked to have been, and were suggesting they might just chance their arm a little. And it's a great occasion, actually. For many athletes, the closing ceremony is more fun than the opening ceremony. They want to feel that party atmosphere, and therefore this, as you're seeing now, it's a less formal parade. They do tend to walk in together, particularly with the Commonwealth Games. It's about friendship. We've all come here. We didn't know each other before we arrived. Now we're all friends. We've competed. We've been rivals. Now we can all enjoy the party and revel in each other's success as well. Carrying the flag for England, right in the middle there, is Nikki Hunt from Ipswich, who in the archery absolutely excelled. And England had a good games. She herself, of course, 2 gold medals. She had 12 perfect 10s out of 15 arrows. It was, I saw a bit of that final. It was stunning to watch. And there's looking at young Leon Baptiste, right in the middle. Now there's an athlete for whom this Commonwealth Games might have just pushed him onto a new level. Won the gold medal in the 200 metres, and who knows, 2012, 2 years away. He's always been an athlete who's had ability and talent, and it came to the fore here when many thought he might not have the confidence to do so. And he'll remember these games for the rest of his life now, and that's what it's meant to be. It's not about who's not here, it's about who is here. Some countries winning a medal for the very first time. The likes of Botswana had never won a Commonwealth medal at all. The Mantley Moncho won the 400 metres here in the Nehru Stadium. Cayman Islands as well, Sidoni Mothersill in the 200 metres. And again, she's an athlete at the other end of her career, if you like, has been to many championships over the years, and it was a wonderful way for her to round off. Well, I haven't retired her yet, but I suspect it'll be the last time she'll be on a rostrum. And of course we had the para events, which were so incredibly popular, particularly in the Nehru Stadium. We had a couple of great races.
Let's hear it for the athletes, ladies and gentlemen. Another round of applause.
Scottish team, fairly successful games, of course, which they'll hope will carry them on to greater things in Glasgow in front of a home crowd. And their flag being carried by John Hammond.
We would like to thank the volunteers
2 gold medals
for their
in shooting, a silver and a bronze, making him, of course, their most successful athlete at the Commonwealth Games.
Delhi United Cup.
Did well in the pool, Scotland, and was David Miller in cycling. A couple of medals on the track as well. Young Steph 12 running for Scotland for the very first time. And a proudest moment that is for John. Imagine doing it at home in front of the home crowd. And he'll be looking forward to the Glasgow segment, I'm sure.
He was telling us yesterday, Alex Salmond, that is the First Minister, that he was confident that Glasgow would be a success. He would say that, wouldn't he? Very bullish too about the cost. The Glasgow Games heading for £500 million. Obviously in a very difficult financial and economic climate, but Mr. Salmond insisting that was money well spent.
And Wales, again, I think Wales will be pretty happy with how they've performed. Rob Neal is carrying their flag. He won a gold medal in bowls. He's now won 6 medals at Commonwealth Games, more than any other bowler in the history of the Games, surpassing David Bryant, who of course was an all-time great for the English bowls team. Di Green, of course, won the 400-metre hurdles here in the stadium, where Wales took a gold and a bronze medal. And now India, leading in the contingent from just below where we are sitting. Gagan Narang receiving plaudits from all of the dignitaries, who I'm sure must be really pleased. They just pipped us on the last day, Hugh, and when I say us, I'm wearing my English hat. I know you're wearing your Welsh hat, but they had a great last day, and they've been very, very pleased with their performance here. It's been a super Games for India.
They crossed that finish line with a whisker, and yes, you do get a sense of immense pride, Tingu.
Yes, definitely. And I think, you know, youngsters here have now got some new heroes, I think, which is fantastic. And Saina Nehwal, who won the gold in badminton today, was superb. I mean, I think there she is. I think there was a thought that she would lose because she was losing at first, but she came back and took that victory and took India to second place in the medals table.
You said something very striking in the opening ceremony. You said Indians love to watch a bit of sport. They don't participate a lot. Do you think that these games might have changed that?
I think there's a real hope here that this is the boost for Indian sport, because Indians have never seen international events on this level ever in this country, and I think the youngsters have come out. They've really been enthusiastic about it. Stadiums have really been jumping with the crowds, and let's hope that some of the schools will take up the reins now and get them out there and get them to be playing more.
Well, people normally flying the flags. Of course, we Welsh fly the daffodil, and it's good to see the daffodil here in the Nehru Stadium. Just a thought as well about the other home nation, Northern Ireland, because, of course, they've got something to shout about as well, Steve.
They won more medals in boxing than anybody else. I watched Paddy Barnes winning his bout a couple of days ago. Great talent, Paddy Barnes. Their flag, if we do spot it, is actually being carried by their heavyweight boxer, Stephen Ward. I don't think it's because the flag's particularly heavy, but he's been given that honour. He actually lost out in the gold medal match to England's Simon Valili in the heavyweight division. But yes, they've had good games as well. And I'm sure Scotland can't wait for their turn. It will come round much more quickly than most people imagine it always does. And because it's in the middle of the summer, I think that it will be incredibly well supported by the nations around the world. I don't think there'll be too many absentees, certainly in athletics. There's no World Championships that year or anything to divert attention away from it. The likes of Jamaica, who of course were here without some